Hi YouTube, it's been a while since I've uploaded. It's been years actually, and I don't even know if anybody ever follows me or cares, but I figured I would start posting little videos here about things that I'm thinking about, life, general rantings, whatever. It's not going to be super professionally designed like some of these YouTubers out here, but I think that's okay. I think it's okay to show you guys a little glimpse of who I am. So what am I thinking about today? Today, I am thinking about a situation that I wonder how many people find themselves in, which is that some of my financial mistakes from my past are coming back to haunt me. And what I mean by that is that I am a single mother. I've always been a single mother. If you look at the other videos on this channel, my kids are in a lot of them. They were much smaller then. They are 16 and a half and 19 now. But when, just being a single mother, and I didn't, not to put their dad on blast, but I didn't get an abundant amount of support when with them. So, as they were coming up, I made some bad financial decisions just to keep food on the table, to keep a roof over our heads, to provide everything that they needed. Some months I was robbing Peter to pay Paul. Sometimes I took out loans that I shouldn't have that had way too high of interest, and it came back and bite me in the butt. And so I've been slowly paying that down one at a time. I have been following a lot of the teachings of Dave Ramsey. I've not paid for a Dave Ramsey program yet, but I've been following a lot of his teachings. And one of the debts that I had just went too long, and they decided to sue me. Now, I found out that they decided to sue me not from them sending me a summons or any paperwork or anything. As a matter of fact, I found out probably a full 4 weeks before I got anything from the company that was suing me. How I found out was because I began getting letters from all of these debt consolidation companies and these debt negotiators saying that I was being sued and here's the case number, and I could end up owing a lot of money and get my accounts frozen and my paycheck garnished if I didn't act now and pay their $500, $600, $700 fee to intervene on my behalf. So I just wanted to sort of speak on that, just to give you a few smart tips. And I am not a financial expert. I'm just a person with a tiny, tiny bit of common sense and a mother who taught her to be a discerning person. So the first thing that I did when I first started receiving these letters a couple weeks back is that I took the case number off of them and took the plaintiff's name off of them, and I went onto my state's case search website. Every state pretty much has a website where you can look up filed lawsuits, and that's how they got my information, is because they search the filed lawsuits and then they reach out to people and try to scare them into paying their fees. So I went and I looked it up. And I looked up, and yes, in fact, this company was suing me for the amount that the companies were saying that they were suing me for. I did a little bit of background research from there on what are my rights. What information does the company need to have in order to win a lawsuit against me? Is there any way that I can get out of this for less than what I owed? Those were just a few of the things that I researched. But I researched that in the period of time that I was waiting to actually get the paperwork from the company that I was being sued, because really nothing really starts until you are notified. The court has to notify you by law. My basset hound is playing catch with himself. It's quite sad. So if you hear that in the background. So nothing can happen until they notify you. So, and then you have periods of time in order to answer lawsuits. So it's important for you to know, do your background research to see what your state law says about the amount of time a company has to notify you that they are suing you, and the amount of time that you have to file an answer. You may or may not want to file an answer. You may agree that you owe the debt. And unfortunately, I don't have the money is actually just not a great reason to not pay the debt. I'm actually gonna move with you guys so that I can put this dog out so he can stop playing catch with himself when I'm trying to talk to you guys. So what I did from there is, I investigated what are my options, how much time do I have, and from all of the research that I had, like I said, I didn't really need to do much until they notified me that I was being sued. So I waited for that. And about 4 weeks after I first started getting those really scary letters, I was notified that I was being sued. Except the lawyer's office for the company, because the company that was suing me hired a lawyer's office to collect the debt. They sold the debt, or actually, they sold the debt to a lawyer's office. Sometimes companies do that. If they have a debt that they cannot collect themselves, they will sell that debt for a fraction of the debt to another company that then goes on to sue you, and they go on to try and collect the full amount of what they bought the debt for. Okay, so this lawyer's office bought my debt. They reached out to me. They said, hey, we are suing you. They sent me all of the paperwork that they had. So from my research, I knew what kind of paperwork they were required to have. They were required to have paperwork on every single transfer of this debt from the moment I took it out to the moment they got it. They did have that. So I really didn't have a basis to file an answer or to fight the lawsuit. So what I decided to do was to call them. They had a number on the letter, and I called them and I let them know that what my life situation was. I did have some of the amount that I owed them, so I offered them a settlement. And you can also do that when you call a company that is suing you. Until you go to court, nothing is decided. You can offer them a settlement, and if it's something, if they think it's worth it, they may take it. So, you know, roll the dice. There's no harm, no foul, because it's not like they take everything back off the table if they don't accept your settlement. I offered them a settlement. They rejected the settlement. It wasn't quite enough. But what they were willing to do was to put me on a monthly payment plan. And they were willing to work with me about the monthly payment plan to make sure that it was something that I could afford. And so I decided to go with that option after a lot of different research because of the fact that it seemed like the best option. By going to court, I may have had to accept the court fees, their court fees as well as mine if I lost, and I knew that I was going to lose because they had all the proper documentation. And I don't want to go through that. I just want this debt to be paid off. In all honesty, I had planned to get to it eventually, and so now it's sort of my next bill on my list. So I called them and I worked out a debt negotiation plan. They filed it with the court. I signed it. They signed it. Now it's entered as an agreement between me and this company. But the amazing thing is that today, let me show you guys. Today, I get a letter from yet another company. And interestingly enough, today is the day I was supposed to go to court if I had taken this to trial. But today, I get a letter from another company trying to scare me into paying $600 to settle this whole thing. You do not necessarily need a company to intervene for you. If you are in the situation where you have no idea where this debt came from, like somebody is suing you and you genuinely like, I've never heard of this credit card in my life. I don't know where this came from. It was not me. Yes, you should probably get somebody to investigate it. If you think that some illegal practices were taken in dealing with you in your debt, yes, you should get somebody to look into that. But if you're a person like me who knows that you owed the money, you were getting around to it, but you didn't quite do it, you don't have to pay $500 or $600 to be able to settle that debt. You can very easily do it yourself and do it quickly without a lot of stress. And a lot of times the companies are willing to work with you because they just want to get the money that they are owed. So now it's up to me to hustle because yes, this money still accumulates interest. So I need to get it paid off as soon as possible. So I'm going to just snowball, 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 like Dave Ramsey says, and do that. But I wanted to share that with you guys because it was on my mind today because I got this stupid letter from this stupid company that's trying to get my $600 to settle something for me that I could very easily have settled and in fact did settle for myself. So if that ever happens to you, I hope this video is helpful for you. If so, leave a little thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and I'm going to try and upload more because I think that I have a lot to talk about in my life. So if you like practical advice or life rantings or just general information about making your life better, easier, or more efficient, subscribe to my channel and I will be working on it. But until then, bye guys.